Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya. So thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across a video where I saw that video before, a tweet actually, but I couldn't find it. But the truth is that it happened. A black woman who lives in predominantly all white space took her child to predominantly all white school. She is the only black person in the class, and they started bullying her because she has braids, and then she doesn't come to school with Stanley Cup. Yeah. You are the problem. The parents, you all are the problem. So the child ended up complaining to the parents, and the parents, decided to write it out that her child is being bullied because of her braids and because she doesn't have Stanley Cup. Actually, internet showed her love, right, by sending so many Stanley Cups that now she goes to school with different colors of Stanley Cup. But that is not a major thing. What I am saying is there are some spaces your child shouldn't be the only person there. Knowing the place you are living in, you all be making me mad this time around. Even you should know better. I know sometimes we want the best for our children, but sometimes you aren't doing them any good. You are damaging their self esteem. Then, when they are grown, inferiority complex. Some of them can't stand out in the crowd to speak up for themselves. Some of them can't pursue their career because they think they are not good enough. When you are among yourselves, when you are among with your people, trust me, there are some things nobody can come out and tell me why do I have law? Why do I have laws? You cannot say that. Let's get into this video.
Every single white person has had at least one moment in their lives where they thought to themselves, this cannot be happening to me. I'm white. Where they thought to themselves, this cannot be happening to me. I'm white.
And every single black person in America has said, this is happening to me only because I am black, or especially because I am black. And this is what I've been trying to say is the only way we can fix things in America, like they know, like they're brazen with it now. The only way we can fix things in America, right? To stop racism in America, black people, is we need to match energy. We need to start teaching our children the exact same thing that white Americans teach their children. Are you ready for it? We need to teach our children hate the same way they're teaching their children. You see this photo? This kid is this is the same image, right? This kid is not yet old enough to ride a bicycle yet. As I'm talking to you, this baby's not old enough to ride a bicycle. He's being raised with hate. You see this one right here? This motherfucker is not, he's not, my father is older than this guy in this picture. They're doing it black and white to make us think it's long. No, black people, I said this, the white man is literally the enemy. There's nothing, the white man is the enemy of the black man. There's nothing we can say or do. They have shown us time and time and time and time again. We are so stupid that we refuse to learn that lesson. Teach your children to hate them the same way they teach your children to hate you. That's the only way to disturb the equilibrium. Everything is perfect right now. They teach their children to hate you. You teach your children to love them. That's perfect balance. You need to disrupt that balance.
I seen a tweet by a mother saying that her daughter is the only black person in her class and she's getting made fun of because she has braids and one Stanley Cup. And her response was, "Excuse me while I go whoop ass." As somebody who was in predominantly white private school that my parents put me in, it actually is detrimental to separate yourself culturally from your own people, and it probably does more harm than good. It is sad that seeking out a better education means that you have to only be around white people or you have to separate yourself from your own kind. That actually is fucked up. As a young kid, there's plenty of different things that happen that in real time you're not really understanding it. Like when I had a low cut and I would be brushing my hair and one of my classmates would be like, "Why do you have a horse brush?" Like, what are we talking about? Or your white classmate not understanding why you're using lotion and moisturizing your skin. Or my father buying me a new pair of shoes and I come with a new pair of shoes and it was, funny to step on my new pair of shoes. Like, those are things that happen just because you're around white people. Me and my dad had this conversation probably about a year ago, but he was like, "I'm so happy that in your 20s you were able to find your own people again. He's like, because I felt like we stripped that of you, thinking that the best option, the best education was to be the only black person growing up. He was like, I'm happy it didn't do a lot of harm for you. I have a lot of friends, all different backgrounds, ethnicities. My closest friend, my fucking brother, is white. We've been friends since we were 5 years old. He is my fucking brother. But a lot of black people that get fully integrated into only white spaces, they do act a little bit different. White people are never like separated from their own people, ever. You might have a white homie, like my homie that I'm just talking about. He has a lot of black friends, like through me, then also through college and all of that. But majority of the time, he is always around white people. I had a great education. I had a great upbringing, but I did experience certain things that you shouldn't experience. Nothing ever crazy in, my case, but that just happens when you separate yourself from black people and put a black young kid, girl, boy, whatever, in predominantly white spaces. They have no one to relate to. Black people deserve elevated spaces, elevated experiences, elevated dining, elevated events. It's sad that sometimes people think that to get those things, you have to only be around a certain demographic, race, ethnicity, etc. Right? I would definitely encourage, anybody, even like in my future, my children, I would never put them in that situation in the sense of like alienating them, whatever. And being the only person that looks like themselves growing up. It sucks that she has to go. I seen a tweet by a mother saying that her daughter is the only black person in her class and she's getting made fun of.
In the early 90s, we left the south side of Chicago and moved to the suburbs. And I think my parents, especially my father, was searching for a better education opportunity for his children. And I can't fault him for that. I cannot fault him for wanting the best for his kids and fighting for that. But man, the psyops that we had to go through living in that space, going to that school. Now, I wasn't like the only black students. Like we weren't the only black kids in the school. I know I had in like 4th and 5th grade, there were another black student in the grade, but it felt like they're either these schools was trying to tokenize us by like, okay, each class will have their own black kid, or they were separating us intentionally. Like I could not, like that all bothered me when I was always even going up to high school, that I couldn't have a class or take a class with one of my black friends that was I was in school with. Like I would say that it did happen randomly. Like I had like a PE class in junior year. I also had U.S. history, I think junior year, that I had another black student with me that was one of my friends as well. But those far between. Those were far between, man. And like you see those black classmates, like during the passing of breaks, or when we're going home or going to school for the day, and then once we get in that building, it felt like that school did everything they could to separate us. And the psyops there, man, like he was talking about in this video about the like they wanted to touch your hair all the time. They're making comments about your skin tone, your hair color, or your hair texture. You have like a comb or a brush for your hair. At the time I had a wave, so like I had the wave pattern on my head at the time. It was like, and it was always, it was the microaggressions. It was very microaggressions. With the comparisons, and that's what they do. They like to compare, and then, and in their minds, they are the default. So, their mindset, they are the default, and everything that they compare everything to the default, and then if it's not close to the default, it's not normal. So, it took yeah, I mean, he took us out of the South Side for a better education, but looking at hindsight, we were also putting ourselves in danger in a different type of situation, um, psychologically, I think, and physically and mentally as well. But I think, I mean, it made me who I am today, and I have a better understanding of that side. I know how to deal with that side now, and but yeah, this is why is one of the part of the reasons why I want to. I'm I'm looking at getting back to the city myself, so I'm thinking about going back to living back in Chicago because um, this space where I'm in is, I mean, they say it's welcoming, but is an asterisk behind it. Um, what I have realized living out in this space is they are cool with you as long as you play a certain role for them. And in the moment you go against that, you start seeing their true colors, which I'm so happy I get to see that now. So, but I mean, I work at corporate. I went up to the corporate level. I've been in that level. I mean, I seen that table. They wanted me to be something that I wasn't, meaning that they wanted me to script my culture. They wanted me to take my essence away. The higher you get up in the corporate world, the more they want you to strip away of your culture, your essence, everything about you, and to become this tokenized version for everybody else in the company who look like you to inspire to become. So it's totally psyops. I believe it's totally psyops. But I get it on their point of view is they want to get a friendlier version of us so they can feel comfortable. But to make us strip our essence away, it was diabolical. It was diabolical. Very diabolical. So they really don't in corporate America, they really don't like the authentic versions of us. So that's why we talk about code switching and things like that. But yeah, I feel like I'm just random talking, but yeah, it's an experience that I probably would go through again. I mean, I think that if we'd have stayed in the city, I think I still would be the person I am today, but probably be a little bit more confier, probably a bit more confier sooner than later. But doesn't matter how long it took to get to the journey. I'm here, so I went through that experience and ready to go back home and start building up my community. So it's one of those experiences. I don't know how I describe it. I mean, it was a hellish experience, but I will go through it again if this would make me the person who I am today. If you get that, what I'm saying there. So, but I'm glad I'm seeing more videos like this now. I'm loving this now. So this is great.
This is all I got from this video, and I am going to start with parents because this time around it is not the child's fault that her parents decided to put her in a predominantly all-white school, and she is the only black person in the classroom. Now, sometimes we do not know the harm we are causing our children because we think it is good for her because that is what you think, right? But it is not good for her. I remember one video that I brought here about a boy, a boy, yeah, he is a boy. They live in a predominantly all white place, and one day he was taking a walk, and they started profiling him, following him to the extent that they wanted to draw Pe0ple. So what if the Pe0ple they had like they kind of succeeded in drawing the Pe0ple, right? That woman would start screaming like, you know, my son, my son, my son. And that will also throw Black community into mourning, right? Sometimes we do things because it is good for us. We don't do it because it is good for the child. I am not saying a child shouldn't get a better education, but I think we should know better, especially when it comes to some certain things. Now, let me start by digesting us. Let us digest this particular one. Now, you all already know how racism is just a thing, especially in yours. All right. That's why I keep telling people, when you do not teach your child about some certain things, the outside world will teach them, not in a good way, in a very bad way. That's why some of them inferiority complex, low self-esteem is just a thing. Why? Because they were told in school that they are not good enough. Now, let me tell you something. When you are looking at people, all you have all around you are people that do not look like you. The only thing you want to do as a child is probably to look like them, or you start questioning yourself, your existence. Like, why do I have this kind of hair? Why are my eyes not as tiny as theirs? Why are my lips not like this? And why are my ears not this way? They indirectly start asking themselves questions that they may not be able to ask. And then do not even forget about the bullying that will be happening to that child. You all do not understand. And the mental gymnastic that will be going around that child. You all do not reason all this thing, but all you want is just to put your child into one school like that. Because of her braids, she has braids. And why would somebody be making fun of somebody with braids? Why is that hard? Or how is that difficult to understand that we do not have the same features? Like, I am wearing something that suits my feature. Why is that hard? I am mad. Why? Because some of you all parents, some parents are not doing good enough. You all are not doing well enough. I said what I said. I am not going to teach you how to raise your child, but there is how you raise your child. That child will become a problem for you for the rest, of your life. It takes only grace. See. Sometimes we shout, sometimes we relax, sometimes we calm down to talk about some certain things. Now the child is being bullied, right? Why? Because she went to her braid. She always comes with braids, and she does not have Stanley Cup. What's a Stanley Cup? That is have to start bullying her because she doesn't have Stanley Cup. Her mother made a video about it, and it was because people are nice on the internet, right? That they sent that girl so many Stanley Cup that she has to go to school every day with different kind of Stanley. Sometimes internet is good. Sometimes it is just weird and wide. I love the fact that they were able to show that girl love, but I hate the fact that the parents push the girl into that kind of space where she has to start questioning some certain things. Yeah, your child got bullied because of her braids. Your child got bullied because she doesn't have Stanley Cup. If she were in predominantly all Black school, I am sure nobody would come and bully her about her braids, or nobody would bully me with my locks. Because you look like me, I look like you. This is something we have to lock in, understand. Some things are just critical thinking. It's not magic. There are some things you can't do magic with. You just have to use up critical thinking. So no, this is right and this is wrong. We really all can do better as people, so we can raise children that will grow up without having so many stories, therapy, and all of that. Don't put your child to it. Don't push your child or put your child in a school whereby when she is grown, she start going for therapy because she needs to correct the things you put her through. I know to you might probably trying to do do something nice for her, but that is not good enough. Bye for now.